Moving on,
Thank you.
I'm honored to welcome you all to our second session for the day on track robotics and Internet of Things. So, without further delay, I would like to invite our speaker, Dr. Srikant Madhavan, currently serving as the CEO of Kabani Tech. He has 20 years of learning in DIY engineering, robotics, and electronics. He is an active member of Robotics Society of India. He has delivered talks at more than 30 engineering colleges on robotics and IoT. It is indeed our pleasure to have you here, sir. I, on behalf of IEEE Malabar subsection, cordially welcome you to share your wisdom with our participants.
Am I audible now?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Yeah, is my screen is of
Yes,
sharing
sir.
also? Yeah, so now it's full screen, right?
Yes, sir.
So I can start. Right. Good evening, and I'm really happy to be part of uh, IEEE MS's Roadmap to Success in Engineering, and I'm here to share my perspective. And this is a personal perspective of mine in the areas of robotics and IoT. So, to start with, actually, robotics and IoTs are not considered to be are basically considered to be relatively new fields of engineering, but their existence and evolution is based on thousands of years of multiple fields of science and engineering. So we need to be specific that I know this program is basically for 12th standard students and who are keen to join a field of engineering or trying to get into a college. So my point is that what is my point in this presentation is what is robotics and what is IoT and how can we select why we select these areas, or if we don't want this, why should not go for this? So the perspective is on choosing the career on an relatively new field of engineering, which is basically uh, 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 an evolution of multiple conventional fields of engineering like electrical, electronics, mechanical, and sometimes civil. So every part of engineering is basically involved in creation of a subfield or a new field called robotics and IoT. IoT means Internet of Things. So before moving to that, we need a philosophy because uh, before choosing any career, we need to know that why we should do this. So the basic thing is how we should live or how to keep us moving. So I need to start with a lady called Diana Nessie. Actually, she's an acid attack survivor, and also by profession, she's a cobra. Right. So the main important thing about she is she has been contributed more than around 1 lakh rupee to the CMRDF front during the flood. So how she generated those amount, even with these kind of difficult situations? That reason is that she has particular kind of tools and particular kind of skills. So that goes to the question: how many tools and skills do we need to learn before we die? How many tools and skills do we need to learn before we die? So we need to have a specific thing in our life. That is, we need to have a skills which is obtained by reading, by sharing, by learning from others, and by repeatedly doing some procedures. And from that, we sometimes learn, and sometimes we find that we already learned things are something fishy or not clear. So we try to unlearn those and then relearn. So learn, unlearn, relearn are the basic things we need to have before going to pursue or choose any of your career. So what is basically tools? A tool is basically a device or an implement, especially one held in hand, used to carry out a particular function. Okay, so but the definition covers only a minor portion of the large spectrum. A tool can be a mathematical thing. It can be a knife, it can be a screwdriver, it can be a drill. But from an engineering perspective, a mathematical function is also a tool. Like we said, the previous section was on artificial intelligence. So the artificial intelligence is basically a tool which is a subset of a mathematics. So in my perspective, so this is again a tool. So we need to have the right tools to start your career. So how do we choose it? So you are already in 12th standard and you have already grown up. So you have every right to choose your selection. So how do we choose this? Even if it is choose it, if it is a problem, can we undo it? Yes. Right. So and other than the tools, we told that other than the mechanical and the mathematical or something similar tools, we need to have a skill. And those skills are basically, it is the ability to do something well, or we call it as expertise. This is obtained by successively repeating a procedure over a period of time. So this requires uh, heavy pressure which is invested on time. So this is how it works. So we need to choose a question and we need to face this question several times before we choosing this any career. How many tools and skills do we need to learn before we die? The perfect answer is infinite. We need to be ready to learn anything on the go. So you should not stop from electrical engineering, mathematics, computer science, mechanical, and everything. You need to go for every bit of thing. Sometimes art, sometimes philosophy. Okay, so I'm not going much, and I'm starting that another quote that teachers open the door and you enter by yourself. We have a problem, but to find where the teachers and where do we find the door and how can we enter? It's basically a complex problem. I hope with these kind of programs, you will get an idea of how to search to find all these things in red color. So to start with IoT, what is IoT? The IoT is basically, to be defined, is the Internet of Things, is a network of physical objects or things with embedded with electronics, softwares, sensors, network connectivity with unique identifiers, which enables these objects to connect and exchange data. It's a basic complex definition, but I will simplify it to you. So IoTs are basically connected devices with communication protocols where they exchange data without any limit of physical locations. So in order to implement those, we need to have a software, we need to have sensors, we need to have networks, and we need to have electronics embedded in it. And sometimes, we have a flood in the 2018 and 2019. If we could have engaged so many sensors around different parts of the river from dams itself, we could have identified that there are the flood is coming to different areas. But how can we connect all those? Those problems can be solved is with using the protocol or framework which is called as IoT. So how do we make an IoT device? It requires complex not, I can say it's complex, but it's still, we need expertise in different engineering fields like electronics, computer science, and sometimes electrical to be on the start. But there are many. I will share those things in the next slides. Okay. So what are the applications of IoT? Even we ourselves are basically connected to internet, and we can say that we are being part of an internet of things. And other examples are wearables, the watches, the phones, everyone, smartphones, everyone are basically part of internet of things, and it's going to be automated. Every switch and bulb in our home, so it's being automated, and our music selection, personal computers, and sometimes analytics, what we call for the uh, uh, flood. It is again a part of IoT. So why IoT now? How it is evolved? Why it's important to learn why IoT now? Because you need to say that if I'm taking a class on IoT and robotics, which is relatively new, but it basically shares a lot of common features from the previous fields of engineering, like electrical, electronics, mechanical. So the post-World War developments in technology and realization has drastically improved the decentralization of research and development, and the developments in electronics and computer science, which made internet possible during the 80s. And again, due to the industrialization, a lot of miniaturization has been done in all the fields of engineering, especially in electronics and computer science. So other than that, there are a lot of research and development in material science, which is purely science in nature, has also already been done. So these things made a paradigm shift because these very large labs has been only there in very good institutions and R&D facilities. But these devices or materials or knowledge has been there due to everyone due to the internet. So we can search from or anything, or we can make a robot from anywhere by while sitting at your home now. So that has evolved to tinkering and do it yourself. So all these things have been culminating a lot now for the faster development of IoT. And why there is a future as an engineer or a enthusiast? Because in 1988, there are no internet connected devices. But in 2004, it is in 92, around 1 million devices has been connected with internet. And in 2020, it is expected that around 15 billion, that is 1,000 crore, billion is 1,000 crore, so 15 billion devices has been connected with internet. That means it's basically futuristic thing, but still with some way or another, we can have a connectivity to every grain of sand on earth. So this is how it is going. So if you require that much number of devices to be connected to the internet, the possibility of job perspective is a lot. But still, how do we get into this field of IoT? That is again a question. So how do we do it? So you need to have a successful career in engineering. Sorry, engineering and IoT. So we need to have an understanding of electronics and communication, electrical engineering, and computer science to be specific. But if we are to develop a specific kind of sensors or actuators, you need to have an understanding about how materials work and how mechanical devices basically operate. So that is again another problem. So we need to understand, we need to be open to it. So other than these things, fundamentals of mathematics and science and engineering is basically evolved in any piece of application devices. And if we are choosing for a career and we are going to a college, first thing we need to check is that what are the things they are teaching there. So there are around 8 semesters in 4 years. And this is one of the syllabus for IoT in some of the engineering colleges. I'm not specifically mentioning about any of the colleges, but these are basically semester-wise syllabus there. You can see that the first one itself is introduction to AI, and then the problem solving, and there is a mathematics, and then physics, and computer aided design, CAD. That is part of mechanical to be specific, and principle of electrical and electronics engineering. From the first semester itself, you can feel that every part of engineering is basically culminated or compressed to different subjects in the first semester. And similarly, all these things, the advancement of all these sub-courses has been shifted to other semesters also. There is discrete structures, which is part of computer science, OOPS using Java, again computer science, and the third one, fourth semester, there are IoT and smart sensors. Okay, so environmental science is also teaching, because if you are generating and designing an application, we need to have a specific understanding about where we are going to deploy it. So all these things are teaching in the syllabus for IoT. Again, semester 7 and 8, there are web technologies and IoT architecture and protocols. Everything has been taught. So more or less similarly, these kind of things has been taught for IoT. And from that, okay, this is basically a subset of engineering, as I told. And if you are going for robotics, which is much more beautiful than the IoT field, because it's much more larger spectrum we are getting into. We can say that in Malayalam, it's an avial of science, technology, and engineering. It's basically a mixture of science, technology, engineering, and somewhat art. Okay. So how do we define a robot? A robot is basically an automatically guided machine able to do a task on its own, and it should be reconfigurable or reprogrammable. Any device, mechanical device, which is programmed to do a particular task, and if we found an error on that application, we should be able to reprogram it and redeploy it. So any device which do this, we can call it as a robot. It should not be like a humanoid robot. It should not be like a human or any other animal. But a problem should be solved repeatedly within itself. Okay, that is a robot. And where are we now? And even in the movies, we are having a philosophical thing of an humanoid device, but it's not in reality almost yet. But still, there are a lot of robots on the field which solves real difficult problems. So this is one of the autonomous car manufacturing plant. There is no human is seen. Okay, so every welding job, welding, painting, everything is done by robot system. This is welding job, and we can place operations. And there is a class of combination of IoT and robotics now, which is called Industry 4.0. That is, even if you switched off the light, the entire production goes on perfectly. That is, the sensors and actuators, which is working for a problem, something like this. If we are manufacturing a car and car manufacturing unit, there are sensors to get the positions of doors and everything. And there are actuators like robotic arm, which know where to weld and where to place and all. So even if you switch the light off, the manufacturing plant should work. So that thing, paradigm is basically, that word is basically called Industry 4.0. And it is almost here now. Okay, so what next? That's the thing. So that's the job of you to select and pursue what next, right? And there are other companies like Boston Dynamics, which is again a group of very small number of people who are developing very futuristic device like this. You can search on YouTube for devices which is manufactured in Boston Dynamics. I will give you a key companies names on these field because if you're looking for these kind of robots are basically called robotic arms, and robotics arms are manufactured by a company called KUKA, ABB, Fonk, etc. And animal-like or bio-inspired robots like these are basically devised by Honda, Boston Dynamics, and several other companies. Okay, and see, there are flying robot and like a one company Kamkaru. So if you need to make a flying robot, something like this, it should not be the basic problem to solve. Should not is not only with the engineering solutions. We need to go for specific material solution on those fields to develop wings for materials for wings and all. So material science is also coming to that is the mechanical. So we can think of computer science in programming for robot and electronics for this of control and electrical for manufacturing the power controllers and everything like drivers and etc. But even the mechanical is already known. When I was a PhD student in IIT Calicut, I was doing work on artificial muscles because it was basically a combination of electronics and material science. So every part of engineering is there. So how do we select that? That is a problem. And again, this is called a robotic surgical device developed by a company called Da Vinci. And still, this is one of the beautiful example of a robotic robot. Okay. And as said by the previous speaker, we have a autonomous car which is on the road now. This is one of it. And a human-like one. It's like something like Android computer, not real. But still, people are working on devising human-like robots everywhere. And there are very small robots on the field, which basically used to drug delivery and all. So like micro and nano stripe structures, which is basically with a combination of material science and some work between the part of electronics and computer. And these are basically assistive devices which help people to move larger load from one place to another or help people with disability. These are supporting structures. Again, on the move, there are something called a Segway, which is basically a commuter, which can be said as a part of robot itself because it knows how to stabilize itself with two tires and how to move, go forward and backward. Right. So, what are there to study in robotics? It is there. If you combine mechanics and electronics, you will be developing electromechanic systems of a robot. And if you combine electronics and control, there are control circuits And if you are comparing mechanism software, you are developing the CAD/CAM system from robot. That is basically that is called kinematics and dynamics on-off robot. So everything, if you combine, you basically start developing a mechatronic system, or you can repeatedly say it as a robotic system. Right. So it is really difficult to uh, uh, compress in 20 minutes, but still I'm going through the basic things. So further, these are basically the number of annual worldwide supply of industrial robots. You can see that 521,000 units has been sold in 2020, right? And who should take IoT and robotics? Everyone, I won't say everyone should take IoT and robotics. Basically, it's a larger teamwork needed to develop IoT and robots. It requires people from computer science and everywhere. So you need to think of what your perspective of future in it, whether you are a computer programmer, whether you would like to design your own electronics, whether you are good at modeling. So if it is something like that, go to pursue that. And later, when you finish that 4 year course, you come join in a team where these kind of works are possible. I don't say it is near to your home, but while finishing your 4 year degrees, you are basically getting a free visa to go everywhere because it's a standard degree, right? And this is not everyone's cake, but if you know how to play in a team, don't worry. If you learn any part of engineering, you can start working on IoT. The key point is you need to know how to play in a team. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for all the wonderful knowledge and insights shared with our youth on this session. Thank you, sir.